Well, I humbly say this, but like I said last week, I'm the best playmaker in this league.
Russell Westbrook breaking the triple-double record. Are you not entertained, friends? He can do it all. LeBron expected to return tonight. Can he lift the Lakers out of the play-in? And how far can the Celtics go without all-star Jaylen Brown, unfortunately out for the rest of the season? Call your friends. Yeah, you're going to need a lot of them. The Jump starts right now. How many guys were defending him? 4? 5?
Not enough.
That is the answer. The answer is not enough. Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols alongside NBA champ Richard Jefferson, future Hall of Famer Vince Carter. We've got the gang back together. A lot to get to today, starting with... If you had told me at the start of the season we'd have a night in May when one of the Wizards stars got love from the whole league for setting an impressive record, at the same time the team's other star got into a multi-tweet beef with an opposing player, I would have believed you. I just probably would have switched which name went with which accomplishment. After all, it's Russell Westbrook, who is known for his epic feuds with Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, half the Portland Trailblazers, while Bradley Beal is supposed to be the nice guy who scores a lot of points. Cut to what actually happened last night, though, and it was Russ who was wrapped in good vibes thanks to this rebound in the fourth quarter of the Wizards game against the Hawks. I love Davis Bertans nearly going up for that one, by the way. Dude, have you not been watching the NBA the last 13 years? That is Russell Westbrook's ball, and it sealed his 182nd career triple-double, which broke the once seemingly unbreakable record set by Oscar Robertson 47 years ago. 47 years ago. Congratulations poured in from every corner of the league. One of the nicest touches was a video that included the other guys near the top of the triple-double list. Magic, Jason Kidd, and of course, Oscar. And personally, I've been very open on this show. I think it is tremendous fun watching Russell Westbrook play basketball. I do think his triple-doubles affect winning. His teams have a 136-46 record on those nights. And I don't think they are the result of empty stat padding. Once again, and for the 100th time, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And look, I'm aware there are plenty of Russ skeptics out there, and they likely drew some glee last night when the Wizards lost on, a Russ three-point attempt that clanged off the side of the rim. But listen to the people who play with him. Bradley Beal came on The Jump just a couple weeks ago and called Russell one of the best teammates he has ever had, crediting Russ for pushing him toward the scoring title this season. Which has some irony after last night, actually, because it's discussion over the scoring title that got Beal into some Westbrook-style beef with, of all people, Kent Bazemore. Yeah, Bazemore had been asked about his Warriors teammate Steph Curry going neck and neck with Beal in the scoring race and said this.
Here we go.
And we got guys hurting hamstrings trying to keep up, so... Yeah, I got to do some research on that. Oh, you got me, Money.
The hamstring reference was, of course, about Beal, who is out with the injury right now, and he did not take kindly to it. A string of tweets. Look at these. He says, I don't do subliminals. Then he proves it when he directly calls out Baze as, quote, lame, tells him to stop the goofy stuff, and even posted this clown gif. Then Beal's wife got into it, too, posting Bazemore's stats. Bazemore was actually playing in the Warriors game while a lot of this was happening, but afterward, this was his response.
Whatever. It kind of got out of hand. I didn't check my phone all day until after the game, so it's kind of blowing up. But, I don't get involved in that crap, man. I'm going to go home, love my wife, watch some Peaky Blinders, and go to bed, dude. I got work to do tomorrow.
Okay, thank you for the TMI on your love life page. Look, I feel pretty confident in predicting we won't get a Warriors-Wizards NBA Finals this year. So by the time Bazemore and Beal actually meet on the court sometimes, I am guessing most of this will be forgotten. But what the Wizards' other star did, that he is going to stand the test of time, he placed a deserved stamp of approval, a player who has left his mark all over the game. Congratulations to Russ. Vince, you called that game last night. Let's just start with the Russ part. We'll get into the Bradley Beal part in a minute. But what was your reaction in the moment of Russ breaking that triple-double record?
I'm all for being a part of history and being in the building for history. I mean, it's right in front of us. I got the opportunity to play with a guy by the name of Jason Kidd. RJ, you might know him. And to watch Jason Kidd do what he was doing on the court and how easy it seemed to get triple doubles at that time, we thought, okay, 181, he might not catch. Oh, look at those guys. 181, he might not catch. Magic Johnson, it's possible. But then you see Russell Westbrook come around and make it really look easy. And I mean, scoring, yes, we know he can score. Rebounding, he rebounds with the best bigs in the game, and assisting, and he's just sacrificed a lot as far as just taking hits. And like you said, that number of 136 and 46 means something to me. Mm-hmm. You know, that's like 74.7%. Like, that's a winning percentage, and that means he's getting it done. And one thing I am proud about Russell Westbrook is he's continued to still play his game and do it like he's going to do it. And I mean, 182. I have five in my career. You know, so he's just made it look easy, and it's not.
Yes. Well, I have one, so that was fun.
So we have six total. So
six
his
total.
182.
But no. I think, you know, to give you guys an example, obviously, you know, me and Vince, we played with Jason Kidd, who was Mr. Triple-Double of his era, right? It was after Magic Johnson. It was him. It was Grant Hill. LeBron James came a little bit later, but Jason Kidd would sit on the back of the bus and we would talk about, man, you had another triple-double, and he would like, yeah, and we would look at the numbers, and he passed Larry Bird, and he was like, yeah, I don't think anyone's ever going to be able to catch Oscar. Because like those were the words out of Jason Kidd's mouth.
Right.
Like one of the greatest of all time. And so when these guys are giving these tribute videos, like the level of respect that these guys have for Russ to see what he can do.
That's who's in your tribute video.
Like these guys that are like, we didn't think what you are doing could be done. And I am sitting here telling you, me and Vince, after getting Jason Kidd 12 assists and 13 assists, was like, yeah, no one's going to be able to catch Oscar. And me and Vince would look at each other like, dude, we giving you assists. You just got to go get some rebounds and 10 points. Like, you can do this. And it's just a compliment to Russ and all of the work and just doing it his way. And again, to your point, Vince, about the numbers and the winning percentage, that's all that you have to do. When he does that and he impacts the game in that manner, which is a lot, look at the winning percentage.
Absolutely. Look, that's all, to me, that's all that matters. I do want to circle back to the beef between Beal and Kate.
Now let's talk about some stuff.
It's straight out of reality TV, which, we got something for that.
This is the true story.
True story.
Of 17 strangers
Picked to play on a team.
We're all adults.
Work together.
I can't do you guys' job. You guys can't do my job.
And have their lives taped.
That's frustrating.
Find out what happens
when people stop being polite.
And start getting Beal.
Oh, I know, dog.
the Beal world.
DC.
Never has an intro been more appropriate as we do our reality TV section of the show. Richard, you're probably the most qualified person to talk about this incident. You are our senior NBA troller on this show.
Let's go.
Kent Bazemore was your rookie, right, when he came into the league.
Yeah.
And you just told me during the break that you introduced Kent to his wife, the wife he referred to in last night's press conference. He was going to go on
so
instead of responding to Beal. So go ahead.
Listen. There's a lot of layers here. As a person that enjoys like triggering people and cracking jokes and trolling, what Bazemore did was wrong. You don't ever want to crack. You could crack jokes about players. You could say that, but to kind of laugh the way you did about a guy that's injured, right? And this is not something that Bradley Beal is new to. He's been scoring like this for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. So this is who he is. This is how he approaches the game. But to kind of crack jokes about an injury and something like that, especially given all the COVID, look, you should get shots taken right back at you directly. On the Bradley Beal side, I just think it's always best if we allow athletes to handle athletes. When family members, when wives, when kids, when that gets involved, it can become a very dark and not a fun place. And so I respect everyone that stands up for their loved ones, but oftentimes it should be the two individuals that are working to hash that out. Because if wives get involved, then siblings get involved, and then it starts to get to a place that it shouldn't. But I do respect people that are supporting. You should support your spouse, but sometimes men at work or women at work, WNBA included, you should just allow people to do what they do. That's my humble opinion.
Well said, RJ. Well said. Well said. No, I'm going to say this. Yes, I played with Bays for a couple of years here in Atlanta, and know him very well. And you can tell he was joking.
He was.
And it's just
but that was what Brad had the issue with, that he was joking about an injury.
That's the thing. And if anything, well, one, at least say that. But you got to say that, because it's not, you can't leave everybody like that and like, wait, you're talking about an injury. But that's Bays. Bays is very loyal to his team, and he's sticking up for his guys. And I think it was just friendly banter that kind of went left just a touch. And with that being said, I think we all know, and we've all said it here, we had Bays on here, we know where his heart is.
Yeah.
Yes. His heart is with Steph, as he pointed out last
He's one of the best teammates you could ever have.
100%.
Yes.
And we know he's about winning. And let's just think about this. If Bradley Beal was not scoring 50 points or averaging 31.4 points a game, with Russ doing what he's doing, the Washington Wizards would not have a chance to be where they are right now. So I think we understand, like I said, that's where when I heard that, I was like, okay, it has to be banter, because I think Bays knows the game and knows what's going on around the league to know, like, yes, this is an opportunity to lead the league. Yes, and you're going to be in a competition. When you're in a competition with Steph, you better go score 50, because you know Steph is very capable. So
yeah,
I do want to point out that when all of this started, first Brad tweeted, should I let him live or go after him?
The answer was yes, Brad. You should have just let him live,
but
Brad.
Wait.
And then given him 50 next time you saw him.
Brad's wife tweeted back at him the Mortal Kombat
finish him. Oh, see, and look, I respect it.
All right, I want to move on.
I respect it.
I want to move on. Congrats again to Russ. That is the headline out of the night.
Absolutely.
Let's move on to Boston. Celtics All-Star Jaylen Brown missing the remainder of this season. Brown has a torn ligament in his left wrist. He will have surgery this week, the team said. On April 27th, Brown took a hard fall, appeared to favor his wrist. So we don't know for sure that's what did it, but we can look back at that. He went on to play 3 more games, but finally did get shut down yesterday. He's averaging nearly 25 points, 6 rebounds this season. So, Vince, what are the Celtics' chances without Brown the rest of the way? It was already a tough week or two for them.
I think right now it's going to be tough for them. And I think why those numbers right there that you're showing. And I think Jaylen Brown brought so much to the table. We know Tatum is the go-to guy. We know Marcus Smart is the heart of the team, but he's an extremely important part on both ends of the floor. He's improved. I thought he's up for most improved player, in my opinion. He has a great chance. I mean, we know about that guy's doing it in New York. But, I mean, he's been playing outstanding basketball. What he was doing when Tatum was out kept the Boston Celtics afloat. Yes, they weren't playing great basketball. They got the team back together. The trio of Brown, Tatum, and Smart started to rise and took them from 8th. They were almost out to now. Yes, they're in 7th, but I'm concerned. And I just think it's going to be a uphill battle. Yes, they added Fournier, but and you're going to need Smart to play and score more points, but it's not Jaylen Brown.
Guy, let's be honest. We're not going to disrespect the Boston Celtics. We're not going to disrespect Jaylen Brown.
But
without Jaylen Brown, an already struggling team is just they're not going to do much. First round exit if they're lucky. But this is a team that has been fighting for championships the last 5 years. You don't have that type of team, and that's not a knock. What you do have is 2 of the best young superstars in this league, and you have a ton of other young talent around them, guys that are in their early 20s, not mid, not late. Early 20s, right? And so you have a ton to build on. And so, like, you should be very, very excited about your future, but your future kind of starts today. And Jason Tatum and these guys are going to still play, but realistically, it's very similar to the Denver Nuggets when they lost Jamal Murray. Your chances of winning a championship went from slim to next to impossible.
Well, look, I mean, Denver's playing very well with what Nikola Jokic has done without Jamal Murray, so I'm not ready to pronounce them anything
They're done
yet.
too.
But I will say,
they're done too.
Richard, come on.
They're done. They're not. You can't win a championship. They're done. They're done.
I'm going to just respectfully disagree. But I will say this. I will say that those tables do turn, right? Because the Celtics were in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years. Certainly among Celtics fans, not players, but fans, there has been a bit of, oh, Kyrie Irving, we don't need you. And then look, if you look at that bracket, if things stay the way they are now, you'd have the Celtics playing the Nets in the first round without Jaylen Brown, with Kyrie Irving on the other side. So we'll see if that develops. Very sorry, though, to hear that about Jaylen was having a great season. Coming up, guys, we're going to talk a little more Steph Curry because It's not just Kent Bazemore's teammate. He hit a dagger to beat the first-place Jazz last night. We'll discuss who can stop Steph. First, though, time for a...
And that's coming from the limousine riding, jets flying, Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, Ric Flair. It's a make or miss league. Woo!
Woo! Indeed, miss boxing out. I get hyped up every time. You know what that means?
You don't do it twice. Look at that pass from Draymond.
Ooh.
Their connection is.
Wizards Hawks, John Collins with a pair of highlights in the highlight factory. Vince Carter, an oop and a block. So
I mean,
you know,
that's an athlete. It's a Florida
sides.
boy, man. He's athletic, and this one, and I was saying all night, if this is, they're preparing for the playoffs, and they're needing to learn and understand what it takes to win in the playoffs, and not giving up on plays. And that was a transition block that was needed to help them propel for the victory, because they had given a 19-point lead away,
right?
And Wizards got back in the game, so that was a
Nate
big
McMillan
block.
will have them ready for the postseason.
What a great story. Just so much fun. Think about it in Indiana.
I didn't say any names. I just say Nate McMillan's going to have them ready for the postseason.
Miss resistance. Giannis driving and dunking on how many Spurs?
Ooh.
3, 5, 6. We were trying to count.
Everyone.
The only number that matters is not enough. There wasn't enough there.
So this was the Shaq.
Why you got to do that?
This was the Shaq one.
Why? I'm not.
I don't think
you're not
this is the Sheed one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything over
This
Duke.
is UNC.
Anything over Duke, I'm good.
This is pretty good though.
But it's like with Giannis, like once he gets to the rim, you think you got it, and then he stretches out just a little more.
There's no.
Could you dunk with your left hand, Vince?
I could, but I not like that. I have one game. I actually have one game winner dunking with my left hand in traffic.
Video.
My entire career.
Any sentence that starts for Vince with "Could you dunk?" The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
I know.
Miss interior scoring. Portland shot 12 of 16 from 3 in the fourth quarter versus the Rockets. So this is the Portland does, right? This is the late season surge we see from the Blazers every year.
They need it. They're going to have to play this way. I mean, they're playing the Rockets, so I understand. But ball movement, it's like that's what Dame does. Of course, that's what McCullough does, and Powell's playing well. It's just look at this, wide open. Like these are like warm up shots.
Dude,
not that.
The Blazers, they were like up, and then they got everybody healthy, then they went down, and now they're starting to peak again.
Exhausting.
They're a very confusing team, which I would not want to play against in the postseason.
When Dame has to play when CJ's out, and then CJ has to play when Dame's out, it physically wears on you. And I want you guys to check out the remaining 3 games left in the regular season. Look at their schedule. Portland facing first place Utah on Wednesday, second place Phoenix on Thursday, fourth place Denver on Sunday. This is the race to watch because you also have the Lakers who are trying to avoid the play-in tournament, would like to switch places in the standings with Portland, but Portland has this murderer's row schedule. Going to be fascinating. Speaking of the Lakers, up next we'll discuss LeBron James, expected to return tonight against the Knicks after missing 24 of the last 26 games. How much should he play, considering the Lakers are trying to make this push?
Here.
With me today, breaking news. We got a Woj tweet here. LeBron James going to give that right ankle one more day of rest today versus the Knicks. So he's now targeting a return on Wednesday versus the Rockets. This is interesting. We weren't sure he'd play the back-to-back, but him playing the second game was not what we expected. Woj bomb there. LeBron has missed the last 4 games. He says his right ankle has been pain-free to teammates after several days off, sources telling Woj. Coach Frank Vogel said James was a full participant in practice on Monday. So, Vince, what is your reaction to him not going tonight against the Knicks, expected now to return against the Rockets?
I mean, a little surprising, but at the same time, you want a healthy LeBron James going into your playoff run. If they're 100% healthy, and their full roster, they can run through the play-in tournament if they're there, which it's very likely. Other than that, you don't want to risk injury and he goes down again, and then you're trying to get him ready and, in and out of the lineup, so on and so forth. So I think if he's not ready to go, he's not ready to go. Obviously, that's what we want. We want him back. We know LeBron James back, the Lakers are a different team, a better team, and can beat anyone in the NBA.
Yeah, no, they are. I think right now their health and Anthony Davis, I know there was some criticism early, but Anthony Davis has stepped up tremendously over the past few games. But I think with LeBron James, it's more, there's a lot more tactical. Do you want to play the Knicks and one of the most physical, aggressive defenses, right, on your first game back? Or do you want to play the Houston Rockets that are rebuilding phase, we'll say that politely, and you can actually get a little bit more run. It's a little bit more free-flowing up and style. You can kind of ease into the game. So when I look at like who you come back against is so important because it allows you to kind of pace how you're going to play that game.
I'm going to note
RJ,
two things.
real quick.
Go ahead, Vince.
Sorry, I was going to say, but RJ, just think about this, and you guys, we know the Lakers do not want to be in the play-in tournament, point blank, and they don't. Go ahead, say it.
No, I'm not saying that they don't want to, but if you were to kind of,
you don't
want to be in the play.
catch a team, RJ, that has a night and knocks them out. Then what do you say?
I don't disagree.
That's
but if
all
they're
I'm
like,
saying.
if we were in the playing game and you gave us one game to win two, and we had our whole healthy squad, and also what we're also looking at is their reward. If they're
let's
six,
show the standings,
show them,
right?
Rachel.
I was about. Wait. Okay, so let's show
that.
There's two things going on here, or two things aside from LeBron's health going on here. Here are the Western Conference standings, right? So right now the Lakers are in 7. We showed you the Trailblazers schedule. They have one of the toughest schedules remaining in the league. So there was a feeling maybe the Lakers would try to win these games. If they win out, they do have a chance to knock off the Blazers, although Portland does have the tiebreaker in terms of getting out of the play-in into that 6th spot. What Richard is talking about, so talking around, talking beside, talking next to, is that if they get into the 6th spot, they would play, if things as they stand now, the Clippers in the first round. So Richard is saying, go ahead.
All I'm saying is that hypothetically,
I know exactly what he
the
said.
Lakers,
You don't want to
if
play
they're
the Clippers,
100%, if you don't want to play the Clippers in the first round, I think it's a dangerous game. I'm not saying that that's what they're doing, but if you look at what is the silver lining, they would probably better match up against the Lakers or the Suns.
Okay, so here's.
I mean, Utah the Suns.
Well, okay, so here that. Producer Danny, please put those standings up again, because I'm going to take this a step further. Take a look at the standings. If you end up in the play-in, right, they're the number 7 team. If they win their first game, which again, if the standings as they are now, if they beat the Warriors, they would go into that 7th spot. That would put them on the side of the bracket playing the Suns in the first round. If they won that game, they would also be on the same side of the bracket as the Clippers before the Lakers even got to the Western Conference Finals. The Utah Jazz, on the other hand, would be on the side of the bracket without the Suns, without the Clippers, and without the Lakers. What if the Lakers were in the play-in game and didn't win that first game against the Warriors? They would still have a chance to win the second play-in game. They would then go in on the Utah side of the bracket and leave the Suns and Clippers to duke it out on their side, along with the other teams. Denver, obviously, as I said earlier on this show, still a big threat with the way Nikola Jokic is playing in the wake of Jamal Murray going down. So there's no easy side of the West bracket. But when you start picking opponents, it can get interesting.
Fall to the 8th spot.
I'm just saying there's a lot of permutations here.
Yes, there's a lot of, but you're playing a dangerous game. I think the Lakers are more focused in on health, and they're like, whoever it is, even if it's a one-game situation, we'd rather be 100% than not.
That's all I'm saying.
Here's the other issue, and this might be completely clear of the standings. The Lakers are finally raising their championship banner, not tonight, but tomorrow. So that's the game LeBron James is playing in. Maybe it's as simple as that. Let's move on because our friend Howard Beck of Sports Illustrated penned a really interesting piece on coaching in the modern NBA. And on the cover, you can see LeBron towering over the 7 head coaches he's played for over his 18 seasons in the association. It's not mean-spirited. It's just making the point that LeBron's experience winning 4 titles under all of those different coaches, 3 different coaches. Meanwhile, Steph Curry has won 3 titles under Steve Kerr, talked about the partnership that Tim Duncan had with Pop, etc. So the question posed by Howard was, do star players still need to join forces with star coaches? Remember Bill Russell, Red Auerbach, MJ, Scotty, and Phil, Kobe, Shaq, and Phil, and again, Duncan and Pop. So do you think, Richard, the player-coach dynamic has changed forever, or do you think LeBron is just a bit of an anomaly here?
One of the smartest coaches I've ever heard in my entire life says, great players help make great coaches, right? Because when you have great players like Tim Duncan, LeBron James, Rondo, Dirk, Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, they see the game in a way that actually helps you as a coach. They're like, Coach, we should try this. So it's another coach on the floor. So I still think that a great coach and a great player, that pairing is still important. It is so big for what players need, because players need that. And I think LeBron James has had some very, very, very good coaches over the course of his career.
It's just that he's won titles with multiple coaches, it's not that any of those coaches might not be. I mean, Eric Spoelstra is a fantastic coach. Frank Vogel has proven himself to be a fantastic coach. I could keep going through that whole list.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won championships with
Yeah.
multiple coaches. So great players over the course of history have won championships with multiple coaches.
And I think also to add to that, well, first of all, I think Spo really brought it out in LeBron, and from there he understood how to get it done and continued to be in the finals year after year. But like I say, I think great players just bring out the best in guys, and it speaks to it's a testament to LeBron and his impact on these different teams as well. So yes, you get a LeBron James. Well, as the coach, you better learn and listen and ask questions as well. So, it goes hand in hand, in my opinion.
Well, Vince, which NBA coach for you brought the most out of you? Not the best coach overall, but for you, like, which was the best match? The way Pop brought out the best in Tim Duncan. Who was the best match for you?
I'm going to say Lawrence Frank in New Jersey, because, I learned the different style of play there. And once I got there with RJ and J Kidd, it was a more of an up-tempo style, because once J Kidd got the ball, we were out. And I said earlier that RJ talking about one of his teammates, but I said, RJ said to me, he's like, hey, when you get the ball, just run the floor, and the ball's going to end up miraculously in your hand. You just lay the ball up. And that was just another facet to my game, because in Toronto, I would get the ball and create and make plays.
Right.
I got to do it a different way in New Jersey, and learned how to just play without the ball, be effective, and score without the ball. And I was dominant in a different way in New Jersey. A lot of it has to do with, obviously, J Kidd, but as well as Lawrence Frank.
Well, and it's funny, we're both going to say the same thing. It's like, obviously, I had Byron Scott, Lauren. I've had a ton, but Greg Popovich for me, and look, I know San Antonio fans hate me, but this is the point about it, is that no. But my point is this, is like similar to what Vince said, is that he taught you how to play a different way. That's why Lawrence Frank was so important. I'm 39. I'd never shot 40% from three until I got with Greg Popovich, until I got with Chip England, and they were like, Richard, you got to be shot ready. You got to do this. And this is as the game was evolving, because I was in year 9, 10.
Right.
So the game evolved to like more 3D players, a 3D player. If it wasn't for that time spent with them, I wouldn't have learned how to be a great set shooter, shoot over 40% multiple years, which ultimately helped extend my career multiple years. So when I look at their importance to me, it was literally at year 12 where you had the ball in your hands my first 8 years. No, now you need to stand here and get 7 shots, and 5 of them are going to be threes. If I didn't learn that, and I learned that in San Antonio, I wouldn't have ended up playing 17 years.
Yeah, just another example of why fit is so important in the NBA. It can be fit with your teammates, fit with the playing style, or fit with a coach. All right, guys, thanks for that. The Sixers are our next topic. We're going to discuss it after the break. They're closing in on the #1 seed in the East.
Get it.
But are they the best team in the conference? Think about your answer. I'll find out these guys right after this. Oh, look, it's our distant replay. I don't have any copy about it, so I'm going to look at the screen and say that May 11th, 2008 was a lovely day for basketball.
What a block.
He's coming out. He'll get a standing ovation.
Woo, what a block. Okay.
BBC in the inaugural season of Basketball Africa League. J. Cole arrived in Rwanda a few days ago, is in the midst of quarantining in order to play in the 12-team league. So, Richard, we've seen him in a few celebrity games. What do you expect his stat line to be in his first game?
I have no idea, but I respect his commitment. This is J. Cole, one of the richest artists in the world, and he's in Rwanda to play basketball. Vince, how much would they have to offer you to go to Rwanda to play basketball right now?
A whole lot. The big bag, because it's not happening. I admire him.
He's younger than the two of you, though.
Yeah, but he's also got probably more money than me, not Vince.
Both of us together.
me,
Chill
not
out.
Vince.
Hey, but no, I tell you what, though, he's at 6'2". I mean, his commitment to the game has been unbelievable. The reason I threw out 6'2", because RJ, what position does he play?
What,
at 6'2".
Small
Small
point guard. Just
Hey, shoot